A very warm welcome to Miss T.L.L English First Additional Language Lessons. I'm so thrilled to be back here on YouTube with you guys. Thank you for the growing numbers. Please do share the link, subscribe. I'm going to try by all means to ensure that I now start to upload religiously, so in a cycle of a week, at least one video. And I feel the need for us to revisit visual literacy. These are the skills that are very much important. We need to really revisit to the nuggets on how to interpret and approach an advertisement, what is required from your good selves with regards to questions based on adverts, how to approach an advert before we can even go to the questions. And I'm going to take you guys through the concepts, if not the techniques that the advertiser use. So in essence, an advertisement is the purpose rather of an advert is to promote or to drive a certain product or service, or it can be a product, can be a service to the targeted audience. So what we are actually studying here, we are studying the brains behind the advert. What kind of techniques did the advertiser use to grab the reader's attention? That is primarily what is the examiners rather looking out for when they ask questions based on an advertisement. Now, the first thing that you need to ask yourself when you check an advert is to really check and ask yourself, okay, it's fine, here's an advert, I see the advert, what is being advertised? That's the first question that you need to ask yourself, so that you are in a position to understand whether the advertiser is advertising a product or the advertiser is actually advertising a service. Remember, adverts, you must not only be fixated on the idea that adverts are always there to advertise a product. Adverts can actually come in a form of a promotion, where an advert actually promotes a particular service. And then with regards to the product and the brand, if you are asked to outline what is being advertised, don't only mention the brand, neglecting the product. For example, we've got BMW. BMW on its own, that's a brand, but BMW X6, then it becomes what? Your product. So if you are asked to outline or identify what is being advertised, to err on the side of caution, you can mention both the product and the brand. Don't mention only the brand, neglecting what? The product. So you should be in a position to differentiate that this is a brand and this is the product of the particular brand. Now, one of the most key, I would say, important concepts of an advertisement is actually the target market. You will never be in a position to outline the correct target market if you did not do justice with regards to unpacking the advert, because you are going to rely on the pictures that are used, you are going to rely on the message that is being said or stated in an advertisement in order to come up with the correct target market. A target market can refer to age, it can refer to gender, but at times you can't even refer to age, you can't even refer to gender. You would therefore need to describe or expatiate the kind of people who would go and buy that particular service or advertised product. So therefore, when you are asked to outline the target audience or target market, you can never say everyone, because each and everything that is being created out there in the world has its own specific target market. We cannot all love the same food, we cannot all love the same cars, we cannot all use the same services. You've got your preference. Now, by virtue of having preferences, that makes you a particular target market for the advertised product or that advertised service. So you need to be careful with outlining the target market. That you need to understand first what is the advert talking about, the message, and from the message you will be in a position to deduce the correct target market. Another concept that can also be used by advertisers is font sizes. When we refer to font sizes, we are going to check with this advert that the advertiser already we see different font sizes. Now, if the letters are bolded in capital letters, the first thing is to grab the reader's attention. The second one is to emphasize the message. Because remember what I've said, that at the end of the day, what is important is that you need to go and buy that or use that particular service. So the only way that you can do that, advertisers will sit and brainstorm and come up with these techniques that in order to grab your readers, to grab your attention. So even the font size does come into play, does actually serve a greater purpose in an advert to grab the reader's attention and to emphasize the message. So whenever you see different font sizes, know that the font sizes also have serve a particular purpose, if not an important purpose in an advertisement. Now, I've said here NB, after studying or while studying the advert, you should be in a position to show the relationship between the picture that is being used and the message. because the purpose of a picture and an advert is to enhance what is already stated in the message. So you should be in a position to show the correlation, if not the marriage between the two. And with regards to the message, English FAL students, if you are in grade learners, if you are in grade 10, 11, and 12, you should be in a position to tell us whether the advertiser used emotive language or the advertiser has used persuasive language. What is the discrepancy between the two? Emotive language will be any language that evokes emotions. For an example, if I say, buy this, you will feel good. By virtue of feeling good, it means that this connects or evokes what emotion, so therefore it becomes your emotive language. And persuasive language sometimes comes in a form of exaggeration, where maybe let us borrow a concept from paper 2 now, literature. They can also use a hyperbole. For an example, if I say, buy this, it is the best in the world, is a form of an exaggeration. It's actually named a hyperbole, because remember, I'm trying to grab your attention and to persuade you to believe that in actual fact, this whatever that I'm advertising is actually the best in the world. So to differentiate between the two, this one evokes emotions, this one comes in a form of an exaggeration. So after reading the message of any particular advert, you should be in a position to identify as to, okay, this kind of message, after reading, I can deduce and actually conclude that it's actually emotive if it is connected to or evokes emotions, or is actually what, persuasive. And then at times we can also have what you call a body copy. A body copy is just an extract that is highlighted like this box here, that advertisers will just use to include other additional information about or important details about the particular advert. Now we are going to study the advert itself and check how did, or rather apply the skills that I've just stated here. We are now going to check and study the advert closer and look and try to find or use the very same concepts that we have outlined to check how did this advertiser grab the reader's attention and become successful in actually persuading people to use either this advertised product or service. Now, if we take a closer look now at this advert, the first thing that we look at, I see a picture of what looks like a mosquito, and the first thing that I see, it says one muzzy bite can kill. There's darkness, there's a half moon, and then here the advertiser says, did you know? It says, did you know? And then we have this we call ellipsis. Ellipsis, it means that the idea or the sentence is incomplete. And then more than 200 million, let us use a highlighter, more than 200 million new cases of malaria are reported each and every year. This is the message now, right? And then already we know that they said one muzzy bite can kill, so it has elements that are actually frightening here. And then remember the font sizes. We have already spoken about font sizes, that font will be different, and these ones are bolded. And then it says don't become a statistics. Again, there is the ellipsis, and then shortly after that ellipsis says ask about malaria protection from active health. So here they showed us the dangers of malaria, and then more people are being killed by malaria. Even one muzzy bite can kill. And then furthermore, now the advertiser said what you need is to ask about malaria protection from active health. So here now we have what you call possible solution to the problems that are stated above. So here is our solution. And then remember, each and every detail is important in an advertisement. We see I see an airplane, I see a car, I see a ship, and then again they say no prescription required, and get the most out of what? Your travels. So I have studied the advert, then I go into the body copy. Remember, body copy, it will just be there to highlight, if not to detail other important facts or information pertaining to the advert itself. We've got the website address, we've got the physical address, we've got the postal address, and then we've got the slogan. Remember, the slogan will be a shorter phrase that will help to sell, if not to drive the product. They say caring for you, and when I see the word caring, I connect it with emotions. So I can safely say that the slogan has used what? Emotive language. It has used emotive language. Remember, do not confuse a slogan with a message. A message will be much more detailed. A slogan is just a short phrase or a short sentence that helps to sell the advertised product or advertised service. Now we go back to the advertisement itself. Remember the first question that I said you need to ask yourself, what is being advertised here? And when I look and study the message in relation to the pictures that I see, what is being promoted or rather advertised here is actually a service in a form of malaria protection from Activo Health. So this advertiser is not here to advertise a product, rather it's here to advertise a service in a form of a malaria protection plan from where? From Activo Health. Correct. And then as we move on, we move furthermore, we can see now why the presence of these, why the presence of a ship, why a presence of a car, why a presence of an airplane. Remember, and get most from your travels. And then it means now, after understanding that, okay, you get most from your travels, and then they've shown that actually malaria, one mosquito bite can kill, which is quite dangerous. And they've also included the statistics to enhance the message that indeed more than 200 million cases are being reported. And then they've used the bolded words and letters here to say, don't become a statistics, to grab your attention. And how do you avoid getting a statistics? By getting the malaria protection plan from Activo. And then not only does it end there, but it further talks about and get most of your travels. Hence we see an airplane, hence we see a car, hence we see a ship, because these are transportation modes that are used for people who are doing what, who are traveling. So by virtue of doing that, we are now in a position to better answer the first question, which also actually is going to ask us about the target audience. So we need to follow all these steps, understand the message, show the relationship between the message that is being used and the pictures, and also being up in the know as to what kind of language has they used. I would say that the advertiser has used actually persuasive language, because once you become you actually use statistics here, you are grabbing the reader's attention, and then you say that don't become a statistics. You are persuading people in a form of even inflicting a sense of fear that, you know what, we need this plan in order for us to be safe. But who will be the best suited target market? Once you have done all of that, you should now be in a position to understand who will be the best suitable target market. Correct. Now let us see and the questions themselves. Now the first question, of course, examiners will mostly ask about what is being advertised, or they'll talk about the target audience, and that's exactly what we have just done earlier on. By and following all the tips that I've given you, you study all the details in an advert in order to come up with the correct target audience. So the target audience for here, it will be travelers travelers who are traveling to places that have or are infested with malaria. Because if you just say travelers alone, you are too ambiguous. Everyone can travel. We can travel to different places, but the most suitable one, you need to contextualize your responses. The most suitable one, and how do we know that people who are traveling to malaria infested area? This is exactly what the advertiser talks about. So we are going to say travelers or people, and then we'll continue to say who are traveling to malaria infested areas. Now here we are now specific. We don't just say travelers is too big, narrow it down to suit the context of the advert, then ultimately this will be correct. And then the second one, give a single word, which means the same as year. If each year, we can say yearly. For this one, we can say yearly, a single word. Question interpretation, it says what? A single word, so we can say yearly, and then of course this is correct. How does the advertiser show that the mosquitoes are dangerous? State 2 points. Now, whenever you are asked to state 2 points, speak about the message as well as the visual. This response, for you to collect these 2 marks, you must speak about the visual, which is the picture, as well as a plus what? Plus the message. So we are going to look into the message. The message, we can say in here, 3.3. The message, here it is for 3.3. You can say the message, one Muzi bite can kill. Actually, it shows the danger, and the words, you can even include that the words are bolded to show that you thoroughly understand advertisement concept. Or you can also talk about the message where it says that more than 200 million new cases of malaria are reported each and every year. You can include that. So these two actually are best suited to talk about the message. But if you were to include both of them and it says 2 points, you only centered your answers around the message, but then what about the visual of the mosquito itself? Now it's very quite difficult to actually describe this mosquito, because I'm not sure whether this is a nose or whatsoever, but it looks menacing, it looks dangerous with round bolded eyes, and it's actually the background of it is also shaded in black to emphasize the danger. So at least I've said something about the picture, I've also said something about the message in order to successfully answer question 3.3, where now it needed actually 2 points. So whenever examiners are looking for 2 facts or 2 points to answer one question, it means that you are not only limited to the message, broaden the scope to say, okay, now here for the first point where I'm going to collect the first mark, I'm going to speak about the message. The second one, therefore, I'll speak about what? The picture. And then quote 3 consecutive. If the examiners talk about 3 or 5, please do not go beyond the required number. Here it says a 3, and then consecutive, it means in a sentence the words will follow one another, and whenever you are asked to quote, enclose whatever that you have quoted within quotation marks, please. Now they say, now quote 3 consecutive words from the text which indicate that you do not have to consult a doctor in order to get anti-malaria medication. So we go into the text itself. Of course, here is our answer. No prescription required. How many words do we have? It's 1, it's 2, it's 3. So for this 3.4, we are going to collect another mark. So you see, with advert you can't fail them, because all the questions responses are actually in the advert itself. So you say quotation marks and you say no prescription required, and then you enclose the words within quotation marks. Please do not go beyond the number that is required. Here they say only 3. Now, and then again it says that identify 2 visuals that the advertiser uses to convey the idea of what? Traveling. You see, 3.5 correlates with what we have stated here in 3.1 with regard to what? The target audience. It says that identify 2 visuals in the advert that actually convey the idea of what? Traveling. And we've got more than 2. We've got 3. You can either mention an airplane, you can mention a car, you can also mention what? A ship. Any of the 3 from the 2 stated 3, the 2 of them will be correct. Why does the advertiser include the following information? Now, whenever you see an advert including website addresses, an advert including social media sites, telephone numbers, and so forth, is for you to get more information about the advertised service or product. So it means that they are reachable. These people, we are able to connect with them further to get more information. Now I'm going to speak into great length with regard to 3.4. Do you think that the slogan "caring for you" supports the message of the advertisement? And then the examiner says what? Substantiate your answer. This is a higher order question. It will always be there in English FAL paper 1, and it will be asked differently. Sometimes examiners will say, were you convinced about the product or to use the advertised product? And they will say, what do you need to do? You need to substantiate. Please, whenever you are asked to substantiate, you must do what? You must answer in full. You must answer in full. So what does the question actually require? Let us practice question interpretation. The question wants to see whether is there any relationship between the slogan and what? And the message. So the message, the slogan here from the body copy, we have already established in the beginning of the lesson. It says caring for you. Remember when I spoke about caring for you, I spoke about the kind of language that is being used here. We said that it is how? Emotive language. So we need to show the correlation between the two. We'll say yes. Yes, the advertiser talks about the dangers of mosquitoes, which include that, for an example, more than 200 million cases are reported. And then also the advertisers use an emotive language in the slogan to show that They are actually caring for people. And how are they caring for people? They have the malaria protection plan from what? From Activo. Where did I get all these ideas to construct this idea? From the advert itself. So whenever you are asked to substantiate, don't rob yourself. Go all out and be in a position to tell us whether the advertiser here used emotive language or whether the advertiser here used persuasive. However, don't just say the advertiser has used persuasive, then you end there. Expatiate into details. How is it emotive? Again, now we go here. It says a 3.7. We have said yes. You include information to say the advertiser stated in the advert that more than 200 million new cases are reported. Also, the advertiser included that one muzi bite can kill, to show the dangers of what? The dangers of malaria. However, the advertiser also used emotive language in the slogan to show that they care for the target audience. How are they going to care for them? By providing them with a malaria protection Activo health. Then you round it off to say, therefore the slogan actually does what? Support the message of the advertisement. So please learn to do justice to question interpretation in advertisement. And the last one, I would always encourage learners to be on the affirmative side. Always say yes, so that you can use information from the advert itself to respond to the question. I hope the lesson was productive. See you once more. We are going to revise and refresh those skills on how to interpret now a cartoon. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe.